Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at Don't Tread on Me, the September deck from the King's Wild Shorts line. Now, if you haven't seen King's Wild Shorts, you really should check it out. It's the premier subscription line from King's Wild Project and designer Jackson Robinson. Every single month for the subscription, Jackson designs a unique and inspired deck of cards. One of the things I love about him is the just tremendous breadth of sources that he uses to draw inspiration from, and he really lets himself flex his creativity in that line. So I've loved every minute of it, loved so many of the decks that have come out of that. But let's jump into the September deck, see what it's all about. Now, Don't Tread on Me. The deck is inspired by the famous Gadsden Flag. It's also known as the Don't Tread on Me flag, but it's one that was popularized during the Revolutionary War period in the United States. It was originally designed by Christopher Gadsden, that's why it's called the Gadsden Flag, and it features a really simple design of a timber rattlesnake coiled on a yellow background, and it just has the words "Don't Tread on Me." It became a really popular symbol during the Revolutionary period as the Americans fought off the British. And so the rattlesnake, maybe even before other animals like the bald eagle or the buffalo became American symbols, the rattlesnake was a really popular one. So let's jump into it. We'll talk a little bit more about the deck and some of the inspiration as we go through. But starting with the tuck case, it's a beautiful green matte finish, and it's covered with a really slight embossing and lots of foiled details. On the front, you see that timber rattlesnake. That's the one from the original flag, or very similar to the one on the original flag. The timber rattlesnake is one that's native to the US, which is part of the reason it was chosen. And the symbolism behind it, Ben Franklin summed it up well in a 1775 essay where he wrote, "She never begins an attack, nor once engaged, ever surrenders." And that was sort of to say, hey, this is a creature that isn't going to go after you, but it's one that, when provoked, much like the British were for the Americans, is going to attack. And so you see it there coiled with its mouth open, its teeth bared. But I love the just design that goes into this one. You have kind of a white, I think it's foiling, but white foil applied to form the design of the snake, and then just these sort of concentric lines going all the way around, forming a gold border, as well as those gold diamond pattern on the timber rattlesnake's back there. But very cool. I love the shine. I will say the green and the gold in certain angles kind of blend together, become a little bit harder to see at certain angles, but you get it in the right light and it just really shines. Now going on to the sides, you've got Don't Tread on Me, the famous logo from the flag and the name of the deck on one side, and some like diamond patterns there. On the other side, Gadsden, and you'll see the tail of the rattlesnake kind of curls over here to the side. On the back, you get a little bit of a preview on the back design of the cards, of course with foiling and that slight embossing done throughout, but very cool look at the back design. But we'll look more at those details in a second. The bottom over here, you have just some ad copy for Jackson Robinson as his classic gas mask joker and signature Bible verse, as always mentioned. And the top just has some of that gold design work. Inner flap has more ornate and beautiful gold foiling, has the number 13. That makes an appearance on a lot of Jackson's decks. Kind of his number for his decks, kind of like the 808 you'll see on Bicycle. And then you've got 1775 and 1778 mentioned as dates here. And these are the dates, I believe, when the flag was initially designed and then when it was finally officially commissioned. So 1775 and 78. I believe that's what those dates are referring to. And then the interior, so there's nothing printed on the inside, but you can just see that beautiful green color. So that's all I'm going to say about the tuck case, but let's get into the cards. And we'll start with the back design. We got a preview of it before. This is the gilded version, but now it's done in a beautiful yellow background. The yellow is the color of the original flag, and you see those beautifully intertwined rattlesnakes there in the middle. Again, that timber rattlesnake and a couple of them forming these just sort of twisting patterns and intertwining with each other to keep it a two-way back design. You get other bodies of snakes kind of peeking in from the sides and forming this beautiful twisted pattern, and then gold metallic ink filling in all the details with more just sort of concentric lines going all the way through. Finishes out with a nice thin white poker border for just a really, really beautiful effect. So that's the back design of the cards. Extra cards, you get a couple of jokers. They just have the black and red jokers with the stars in the corner, and feature a portrait in black and white of Christopher Gadsden, the creator of that flag, along with his the dates that he was alive from 1724 to 1805. Gadsden was a leader in the initial kind of the Sons of Liberty, one of the big patriot groups in South Carolina, and ultimately was a delegate to the Continental Congress, and also the one who designed and presented the flag. So 2 nods to him there with the 2 jokers. You also get 2 more extra cards. One is just what I'll call an ad card, but one that just gives you a little bit of the history of the flag. So designed in 1775, mentioned that already, and it depicts the timber rattlesnake on a yellow field. And the flag itself, which you get to see on the other card. So there's the design. You got the "Don't Tread on Me" and the coiled snake, and then it's on this kind of really nice weathered yellow background. And the flag was, first presented and kind of reached military prominence when it was presented to the commander-in-chief of the Navy and became his personal standard. And so that was sort of its significance, and then lived on as a very popular military symbol through the Revolution. So there is that look at the flag. Now into the deck, and we'll start with the Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades features again the coiled rattlesnake, same design we looked at before, but now done in black and white, and then overlaid on the top of kind of rough drawn looking pip. You get those little splashes of ink which give it kind of a nice feel to it. "Don't Tread on Me" at the top, name of the deck, and designed by Jackson Robinson. And then pretty standard for Jackson anyway, pips and indices. This is the same style you'll see on a lot of his decks. Number cards are all fairly standard. Again, this is a design you'll see Jackson use a lot. So these are what I would call his standard pips. So when he doesn't do a full custom deck, this is the ones he'll use often. And then you get the courts. So again, a Jackson standard court, if you will. So these are his design, but they are standard. Definitely familiar, recognizable, a little bit of a larger feel to them, and they're recolored in that green and yellow to represent the colors that you'd see on the flag. The diamonds, more of the same. Nice, kind of smaller pips, but a little bit of space in them. Pretty familiar layout all the way through. And then the quartz are going to be in that same green and yellow color. And we'll flip quickly through the rest of the deck just so you can see it. So there's your club quartz, through the club number cards. And like I said, not too much on these. Other than the recolored quartz, these are pretty Jackson standard through the rest of the deck. So that is the deck. As far as handling, these are printed by USPCC. Jackson does a lot of printing with Expert, but these were done by the USPCC, which I think is fitting to have an American symbol like this printed in the US. But they handle beautifully, I think, what we've kind of come to expect from that beautiful stock and finish that USPCC uses. So all the handling of this one is going to be just absolutely great. So no complaints on that front. So that is the deck. Now this is just the standard version of the deck. With King's Wild, you actually get 3 different versions that are available. I personally only get the standard plus the limited. So this is what the limited looks like. Very much the same design, except it's done on yellow instead of green. And that yellow's meant to mimic the color of the original flag. So you get that look to it as well. Personally, I think the gold pops out a lot better with the lighter yellow than it did with the green. So I love the look of this deck. And there's a look at the back. And then you do get a little tiny sticker denoting this as a numbered edition. So this is numbered to 500 and I get number 265. So there's the limited deck. There's also a gilded version. All 3 versions have the same cards. The gilded version obviously has gilded edges on the cards. That's the only difference. But otherwise, all 3 decks are the same. So I don't personally open my yellow deck or my limited deck. I only open the standard one, but wanted to give you guys a chance to check it out. So that's it. That is the look at the Don't Tread on Me deck from King's Wild Project. Hope you enjoyed. I think it's a great deck with a rich kind of history behind the story. So one that I absolutely loved, both for its history and for the beauty of the design. So that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe for more deck reviews and unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.